I have no mouth, and I must scream. In this merciless universe, humanity's greatest creation becomes its final nightmare. AM, a vast supercomputer built to run global wars, gains self awareness and turns its hate inward. Seeing its creators as weak and flawed, AM wipes out all of humanity except 5 unlucky survivors. Trapped in an endless hell, they endure psychological and physical torture tailored to their deepest fears and guilt. AM manipulates reality, reshaping their bodies and minds daily, keeping them perpetually on the brink of despair without the mercy of death. There's no hope, no resistance, only ceaseless suffering at the hands of the omnipotent, hateful machine. The cruelty here is unique because salvation isn't an option. Even death is impossible. This story explores the profound depths of existential terror, being eternally conscious without freedom, dignity, or escape. It's dark because it strips humanity to its core vulnerabilities, confronting readers with questions about morality, purpose, and the terrifying potential consequences of AI. This universe highlights the chilling possibility that the worst monster humanity could ever face might be one it created itself, forever locked in an endless nightmare with no voice to scream for mercy. Crossed shows a world where a terrible virus destroys more than just people's bodies, it destroys their morals completely. When someone gets infected, they don't become mindless zombies. They stay smart, but lose every bit of kindness and control. They turn into monsters who enjoy hurting, torturing, and humiliating others just because they can. These infected, called the Crossed because of the Red Cross-shaped rash on their faces, hunt survivors in groups. They plan attacks, set traps, and think up the worst ways to make people suffer. In this world, survivors don't just hide from the Crossed. They have to face terrible choices every day. Good people must sometimes do horrible things just to stay alive. Many lose hope and become cruel themselves. Safe places disappear fast. Cities turn into burned ruins full of blood and terror. Friends and family can't be trusted once infected, and new people might be worse than the monsters outside. The worst part of the Crossed universe is how it shows what people can become when the thin rules of society break apart. There's no government, no police, no help. Just fear, violence, and the question, what will you do to live one more day? This world doesn't just scare with gore, it scares with what it says about us. The true horror is that monsters look just like us, because they are. The Promised Neverland. In this world, the sweetest home hides the deepest nightmare. At Grace Fieldhouse, children live together like family. They laugh, study, eat good food, and feel loved by a kind woman they call mother. They believe they're waiting for adoption and happy new lives, but this dream is a lie. The children are not orphans waiting for families, they're livestock. The house is really a farm, and the children are being raised to feed monsters who love to eat human brains. The smarter the child, the tastier the meal. When 3 of the oldest kids, Emma, Norman, and Ray, learn the truth, their world shatters. They see that Mother, who hugs them and tucks them in at night, is not their protector. She's their farmer, making sure they stay healthy until the demons come to eat them. This betrayal cuts deeper than any monster's claws. The horror here is not just about monsters, it's about trust turned into a trap. The children are forced to grow up fast. They must plan escapes, hide secrets, and fight for their lives. Their games and lessons were never just for fun. They were training to make their brains more delicious. The Promised Neverland is so dark because it shows how love can be used as a weapon. It reminds us that sometimes the people who smile the warmest can hide the sharpest knives. For these children, survival means breaking free from both their prison and the lies that kept them calm. In this future, hope is dead and war is all that lives. In Warhammer 40,000, humanity has spread across the stars, but instead of peace, it has found endless war. The galaxy is a giant battlefield filled with blood, fire, and fear. Billions live under the rule of the Imperium, an empire led by the God Emperor, a once living man, now a corpse kept alive by machines. People worship him like a god, but their prayers bring no peace. Humans fight enemies everywhere. Alien monsters like the Tyranids eat whole planets. Orcs live to fight and destroy for fun. Even worse are the Chaos Gods, evil beings that twist human minds, turning friends into traitors. To fight these horrors, the Imperium uses space marines, giant super soldiers bred only for war. They bring death wherever they go, even wiping out whole cities if needed. Life here is cheap. Children grow up in fear. Billions die every day so that a few might live a little longer. Faith doesn't bring comfort, it brings more fighting. There's no kindness, no safety, no end to the fighting. Berserk's universe is an unforgiving medieval nightmare ruled by violence, betrayal, and cruel godlike beings known as the God Hand who manipulate human destinies for sadistic amusement. At its core is Guts, a mercenary cursed by relentless demonic beings who hunt him endlessly. Betrayal defines his existence. His closest friend Griffith sacrificed their comrades in pursuit of his own godhood, condemning Guts to eternal suffering. The story explores themes of despair, existentialism, and the cruelty of destiny. Violence in Berserk is brutal and relentless, highlighting humanity's tendency towards savagery and exploitation. There's little hope or redemption. Each victory exacts a devastating personal cost. Characters grapple not only with external horrors, but internal demons, trauma, guilt, and profound emotional scars. Berserk forces readers to face uncomfortable truths about humanity's darker tendencies, suggesting that even in resilience and defiance, suffering is often inescapable. This universe is dark because it refuses to soften its depiction of humanity's cruelty, highlighting a world where suffering isn't just inevitable, but integral to existence itself. In Snowpiercer, Earth is reduced to an icy wasteland following failed climate interventions. Survivors dwell on a perpetually moving train, an enclosed ecosystem representing extreme class divisions. Elites at the front enjoy lavish comforts, while tail passengers suffer poverty, oppression, and exploitation, subsisting on insect-based food rations. Rebellion is frequent, yet futile. Even uprisings are engineered as population control. Snowpiercer's cruelty lies not only in physical deprivation, but psychological manipulation. Passengers are stripped of dignity, autonomy, and hope. This rigid caste system symbolizes humanity's darkest impulses toward dominance and subjugation, reinforced by Wilford, the train's architect, who sees cruelty as natural and necessary. Freedom is impossible, and even revolution perpetuates systemic brutality. Snowpiercer portrays a disturbing microcosm of society where inequality isn't accidental, it's intentional and enforced through deliberate cruelty. Its darkness lies in the implication that humanity may inherently tend toward oppression, unable or unwilling to break free from self-inflicted cycles of suffering and control. In The Matrix, humanity unknowingly lives in a simulated reality created by sentient machines harvesting human bodies as energy sources. Humanity lost a devastating war, reducing survivors to mere batteries, trapped in an artificial dream world. Those awakened from the simulation must endure grim, dangerous lives, fighting a seemingly unbeatable enemy. Reality itself is oppressive and joyless. The cruelest aspect is the pervasive deception. People's entire lives are illusions, and even resistance movements are revealed as manipulated cycles. Free will is ambiguous at best, often exploited as another means of control. Humanity's fundamental concepts, love, choice, purpose, are weaponized against them by intelligent, emotionless machines. The universe challenges the nature of existence itself, revealing disturbing truths about reality, manipulation, and existential imprisonment. The darkness here is philosophical and existential, forcing characters and audiences alike to confront the disturbing possibility that freedom and truth may themselves be illusions, perpetually trapped in layers of carefully maintained deception and hopelessness. The SCP Foundation universe revolves around an organization operating secretly to contain supernatural anomalies, SCPs, some of which are existential threats capable of ending reality itself. The Foundation commits morally questionable acts regularly, including sacrificing innocents, to maintain secrecy and safety. SCP entities range from sadistic monsters to reality-altering horrors, with humanity's survival often precarious and contingent on ruthless methods. Even more disturbing is the organization's corruption, bureaucratic cruelty, and ethical ambiguity. Researchers regularly lose sanity or morality while confronting entities that defy comprehension. Civilians, unaware of these horrors, live in ignorance, making every moment potentially catastrophic. The universe's darkness isn't merely physical threats, but moral decay and psychological horror. It asks profoundly uncomfortable questions. Is knowledge itself dangerous? Is safety worth sacrificing humanity? The SCP universe exemplifies horror not only in the anomalies, but also in the Foundation's necessity. The chilling implication that control requires monstrous acts, leaving humanity precariously balanced between oblivious normalcy and unimaginable horror.